Alright guys, so the last YouTube video you guys saw was Eric and I's Goodwill trip, and so this video is going to be our Goodwill haul, and I do have a couple other pieces to add at the end of this video. So two of the items actually already sold, so that's awesome, and I'll get to those as I get to those. So the first thing, and I think the find of the day that day, was this beautiful art glass vase. So this is absolutely gorgeous, and it is signed, so it is always nice to find pieces that actually have the artist's signature on them. Eric actually figured this one out. This is by someone named Zach Gorel, and this here we paid $6.99 for. I listed this on auction with a starting price of $99.99. It does currently have a bid. The only other vase I saw listed by this specific guy was listed for like 200 something. So even if I only get the $99.99, I'm perfectly okay with that because I got such a great deal on it. Really nice piece, and I know I think I've said in the video, in the Goodwill video, if you ever have a hard time figuring out who made like a particular piece that you have, whether it's glass or pottery or what have you, there are plenty of Facebook groups out there that can help along the way. There's a Facebook group for everything. There's ones on identifying art glass, studio pottery, vintage girls toys, you name it, there is a Facebook group out there for it. So I encourage you to just join Facebook groups because they can be very, very helpful if you ever have a hard time figuring out who made a certain piece that you have. So awesome find there. I also found a couple beauty related items. The first one here is called Kenzen. It is a fresh tonic lotion. So I picked this up. I paid $2.99 for it. I didn't see any sold when I purchased it, but I did see someone had one listed for around $50. So I don't know if that's actually how much it's really worth or not. I paid $2.99 and I listed mine as a buy it now for $29.99. I also got 2 jars of this Cetaphil or Cetaphil Deep Hydration Daily Cream. This is face cream. These are new. There were 2 of them. I paid, altogether, it was $9.98. So I decided to list these as the lot. Sometimes that works out more in your favor if you have more than one item available, to list it as a lot. So I listed these as a buy it now for $35.99. Next item already sold, so I'll pop that up. Those were the Camelback filters, replacement filters. I purchased those for $2.99 and they sold for a buy it now of $39.99. They sold very, very fast. This one here was missing 1 filter. The box said 3. There were 2 left in the box. Still, like when I comped that at Goodwill, I saw the last one that also had 2 available. That sold for the $39.99. So I knew I could at least get that for them. But had there been a 3rd one in there, could have got a little more for them. Let's see, I also found this Root Boost Hair Mousse foam. This is volumizing foam by Regis. The Regis brand, I'm pretty sure was only sold, yeah, it was only available in salons. So that's always something to, you know, think about when you're finding stuff like this, because it's usually more expensive in a salon. So this here I paid $2.99 for, and I listed it as a buy it now for $22.99. And then I also saw this beside it. This is the Shine Mist High Glossy Spray, also by Regis. This one here was $1.99, and I listed this one as a buy it now for $29.99. So it was a little more desirable. That brings me to the next item, which already sold. This was that Timex clock. It was called a wake and shake alarm clock. So basically, when the alarm clock goes off, it would move around, and I think it also is supposed to talk, like say different phrases. This was still in its original box, and it had that like Y2K type of look, in my opinion. I don't know exactly what year it was from, but it had that look. So I decided to take a chance on it. I paid $4.99, and I listed it as a buy it now for $29.99, and it sold very quickly. I also picked up this Raiders bag. So this is like a nice crossbody bag. You could use it as a gym bag, laptop bag, what have you. It is by the brand Mead. And this here, it said $9.99 on it, but I don't know if like the tag that it was on sale. But according to my receipt, I think I was only charged like, I want to say $5.99. I don't know. It was definitely not $9.99, so it was cheaper than I anticipated. But this here, I listed as a buy it now for $49.99. There weren't any currently listed, and the last one sold for around $42. So I may have to come down in price if it doesn't sell over time. But the fact that there wasn't any listed is always a plus in my eyes. I also decided to take a chance on this wooden cat. I like picking up painted wooden pieces that are signed, whether or not it is like someone well known or maybe just someone local to their area or that type of thing. It's just, I don't know, it's one of those things that I can't say no to, kind of like gourds, but I just decided to take a chance on it. It's a pretty large wooden painted cat. He has a bird on the tail, and it is signed on the bottom. I could not make out that signature, so I'm not sure who made it. You know, I never looked on Facebook to see if there's any kind of like Facebook groups for like wooden painted pieces. Can make out the year of 1991, and that's about as far as I can get. But I thought it was cute. So I paid $4.99 for this. I did put it on auction because I just don't know. And I listed it on auction with a starting price of $29.99. I also purchased these two handled baker pottery bowls, and these are signed on the bottom. These here, hold on, I gotta look at my listing. So these here are by Collins Lane, is the name. And yeah, these are round pottery baker bowls. So they have a really cool design. They are signed on the bottom. But I just decided to take a chance on these. I thought that they were really well made. I did pay, I think it was $2.99 a piece for these, and I listed them as the lot. Again, I decided on auction because I didn't see any currently listed. I put these up on auction as a starting price for $39.99 for the pair. Also purchased this Pfaltzgraff butter dish. This one, I love the look of this. It kind of has like an Art Deco kind of styling to it, in my opinion, with that ribbed look. But typically, I don't really pick up Pfaltzgraff, but some butter dishes can sell really well, specifically butter dishes. Doesn't necessarily matter the brand. If you see a butter dish, I would at least run a comp on it just to make sure. That's why I did on this one. And I was seeing someone had just this part listed for like $30 some. So this is a harder to find butter dish. Don't know if anyone's searching for it right this minute, but you know, if not, I'll just put it up as a buy it now. But I paid $2.99 for this, and I listed it on auction with a starting price of $39.99. So if it doesn't sell as auction, I'll probably list it as a buy it now for that price. That's pretty much everything that we picked up at Goodwill. So not bad that two of the things already sold, and the vase will sell. It has a bid. so I'm not concerned about that. So I don't know, like Eric and I, it's been a while since we had gone to Goodwill to try and source. Typically when we go, it's just, you know, I feel like it's not overly exciting, but that vase was just like, oh my gosh, like there's still some amazing stuff to be found at Goodwill. So I think we're gonna try and get back there more often. I'm gonna try to maybe go at least once a week, maybe more than that, I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. But I am gonna share just a couple more pieces that I'm gonna throw on the back end of this video, some larger stuff that I can get put away on my shelf. So this piece here, Eric and I won at the auction recently. And this is the cutest thing ever. Look at this. It's like a metal articulated Santa Claus. Look at his little hands and legs go. Oh my gosh, he's the cutest. You can hang him up. He has like a little string here to hang him. He is like a painted metal. And this is actually by someone named Edna Young, and she's really famous for her what you call shadow dancers, or like luminaries. I have found twice her stuff out in the wild. I once sold just a piece to a shadow dancer before. I purchased at a flea market, and then I went to another flea market that was more like an antique flea market, and I found a really large Santa Claus luminary that hasn't sold yet. But I do like picking up her stuff when I find it, and the stuff is just amazing. She was really talented. I mean, this thing is cool as hay. So this here, we actually won at an auction, and I feel like Eric paid $5 or less for it. So obviously no one else knew exactly, you know, who made this piece. But I listed this here for a buy it now of $49.99. Then also that same day at the auction, there was this piece, and this is also by Edna Young. This one is amazing. So this one here is called a shadow dancer as well. So some pieces of him are metal, like the face and his hands and feet. So it just kind of looks like an old world type Santa. He still has his tag attached, and he's holding this little lantern here. And then the base, like it looks kind of like something would have been here, but it's just to like mimic the look of light shining down onto the base from his lantern. It's a really, really, really cute piece. I mean, absolutely amazing work on this. And it is signed on the bottom. Here it says Shadow Dancer Young for Edna Young, 1995. So this was a really awesome piece. I think he paid, I want to say around $20 for this one, and I listed this as a buy it now for $99.99. I definitely think that it's worth that. This one is just a really cool one. I didn't see any that look like this one listed, and I'm pretty well in love with it. And sometimes when I really like something, I might price it a little bit higher, just because I'm on the fence about selling it. And sometimes it still sells, but sometimes it's like, oh well, I can put this out in my decorating come Christmas. So that's kind of what I thought about this one. So I priced it a little high, but I think personally it's worth that much, so we'll see. All right, and then I got two Halloween blow molds. This one here is of a witch holding a skeleton head. This one is actually a harder to find Halloween blow mold. The next one that I'll share after this is a more common one you've probably seen before, but the witch is harder to find. This here, Eric and I actually got at a private pick from a lady's house. So I don't even know what we spent that day. So like I'd have to like average out every single piece that we bought that day, which would be very hard to do. But she made us really great deals. So averaging out, I'm sure we didn't pay a whole lot for this. So yeah, this one is a good one. We listed this as a buy it now for $300. The last one sold for $250. There's none currently listed that have the skull attached. They came out with different versions. There's one where she's holding a pumpkin, I believe, which is the more common one, I feel like. Another uncommon one is a devil head. If you would ever find that one's worth good money as well. But I do feel like the vintage Halloween pieces, Eric and I have been seeing an increase in prices of vintage Halloween. So I definitely feel like either more people are starting to collect it, but yeah, we've been noticing an increase in the prices. So that's always good for if you're selling it, not so good if you're collecting it. And then the other blow mold piece was this one here with the black cat and the jack-o'-lantern, and it says trick, and on the back it says treat. So this one is a little more common one. I feel like when we're at auctions, this came from an auction. When we're at auctions, typically this is the one you normally see. So this one here we listed as a buy it now for $69.99. One thing that I wanted to make mention on this, or just blow molds in general, whether that be Halloween or Christmas, what have you. And I feel like I just mentioned this in one of my Bolo videos, which you probably won't see until after this video. But when you're doing comps on something that you are going to sell, don't just look at the sold price of what you're looking at. Definitely click on the item, see what kind of condition that item was when it's sold and everything else, whether that's a sold or a current listing, when you're trying to figure out your price. Because this blow mold in particular, there are some listed and that have sold lower, and one of the main reasons was because there's no actual light or plug to it. Was just the blow mold. So obviously if you have the light, I feel like you're going to get a little bit more money for it because you don't have to replace that or put one in, type of thing. So that's something to think of, like when you're listing something. Don't just look at a sold, actually click on the item and compare conditions as well, because other ones too, like they may be missing the light, the coloring on them might be really faded, or that type of thing. And this one is pretty darn nice. So it's just something to keep in mind when you are you know, listing something, to not just look at a listing or look at a sold, but actually click on those items and read the description of that item and then compare it to your piece. So just something I wanted to throw out there, because Eric actually listed this and I don't think he did that. Like, he just went by what was listed and they're all missing the plug, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to tell him that. But that's pretty much everything for this haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and I will see you next time.